let me know if you guys can hear me. I'm gonna try to see if we. Hello everybody, let's see if now you guys can hear me. Please let me know what is going on with the audio. I've tested everything before and it was working. Hear me so far. Audio was good. What is going on? Okay, so I don't understand. I just keep reading that you guys cannot hear me. From my hand, it looks like it's currently working. So can please let me know in the chat. Fergie say loud and clear. Laura is okay. Perfect. I don't know what happened. I haven't changed anything, but I'm glad that you guys can hear me. I've just done a little introduction about Design Fix. Today we're going to be focusing on logo design. So hopefully now we jump into my screen and you guys can still hear me from there. So let's go ahead here and we're gonna move on into the project right away since we lost a couple minutes. And let me know again in the chat, give me a thumbs up if you can still hear me in this screen. And the business that we're going to be focusing on today is called Seashore Lane, which is a handmade products and beautiful designer fabrics business shop that is based in Australia. So we're going to be, and I'm going to show you how to do a facelift, how to bring this logo into a more modern look. And we have the lovely email. I absolutely love this submission. There were so many details. And by the way, thank you so much. That is everybody that is watching here during the live. If you're watching this on a replay, we had a little bit of an audio issue, but thank you so much for everybody that is in the chat. Give me that thumbs up. I'm so glad that you can hear me so we can have so much fun together. As I said, you can submit your own work and your own request for Design Fix. Alex and I will be dedicating 1 hour to your business, helping you solve all the design issue that you may have and showing you how you can use the wonderful Creative Cloud app, Creative Cloud services, and the amazing Adobe Express to refresh or create a new logo and create social media and so much more. Okay, so let's focus on today's submission by Sandy and our business Seashore Lane. I'm gonna trickle a little bit of Adobe Firefly in today as well because I used it for the inspiration. Is now part of my workflow, and today Adobe Live was so exciting to see these streams. So let's go ahead and have a little bit of a look at the brief. As I said, this is absolutely beautiful. Make sure to click on the link in chat. Hopefully, wait, if you can just share in the chat the link for everybody to submit their work. Otherwise, you can head on my website, iamkladi.com/designfix, and there you can submit your form. You can see those are the questions. The business here, Seashore Lane, sells handmade products and beautiful designer fabrics to make quilt, accessories, and homeware. Everything that I've highlighted in orange, as you can see here from the brief, are really the keywords that I like to use. And I'm going to show you right away the finished product, and then we're going to work a little bit on how to create these sort of assets. Also, let me go ahead and say hello in the chat to Steve, Umacron, Gareth, Frank, Fergie, Susan. Thank you so much, everybody, for being here with me. And let's go ahead and let's keep going. If you have any questions, take advantage of this hour together. As I said, right now I'm live, so I'm more than happy to take your questions and help you out if you have any other issue here. So, or any other questions about graphic design, about logo design, about how to promote your business, social media, and so on. Happy to take those questions. I'm sure that, don't be shy, that will be helpful for everybody. Okay, so let's go on and move forward here. Sandy has shared with us her website. We're gonna have a look, her Instagram, Facebook page. She's looking for a brand refresh. She's saying that I have an existing design that needs a facelift. Social media templates. Feel free to share anything that you think would be helpful for updating the logo. And also, this is so important. This is the soul of our business. I'm trying to convey a relaxed feel to my website, somewhere enjoyable to look around and discover something special. I would love to create a mood board. We're definitely going to tackle that. We're going to bring a bit of Firefly spice into it and create social media posts, which we're going to be tackling in Adobe Express. So buckle up, we are ready to go, and I'm going to go ahead and jump right away on how to show, I'm going to show you the final right away. I'm just going to jump into it. So I want to show you that initial logo, which I'm going to select here, and I'm going to bring right into our little final design, which is right here. Let me know what is in the chat. Be brutal. I love your feedback. We're here to learn together. So I kind of liked to keep the idea of the stitches, but rather than having this pattern line, and was really concerning me about this logo was the legibility, the lane being on a green color on top of a white. It was really losing contrast. The Seashore typewriter, it's sort of seen quite a lot, so I try to find a font that will have the same feel but with a little bit more of a modern look, although I retain the typewriter serif font for the little tagline, which is at the bottom, which I've also changed in order to have a better fit with the feel. And of course we kept the thread with the needle and thread, which is there, and we can keep them, we can remove it as well. And of course, as you can see, I've had this little trick of using a different color for the thread in order to make sure that we do not perceive with our eyes the thread and the needle as a shape. You know, it might look like a P. You need to be very careful in thinking at this sort of details when you're looking at a logo and you are associating an iconography or an image or a line next to some text, because it could easily get mixed up for the text. So make sure to either use spacing, either put it at the top, put it at the bottom. When it's so close, you might want to use a different color. Okay, so let me know your thoughts in the chat from the before and after. I've also shown you how to create this little pattern. I created a little tag. I know that Sandy is probably asleep right now, so she's gonna watch this on a replay. Hi Sandy, I hope you enjoy it. Of course, she's gonna have access to all this finished product and much more, because we're still gonna have to jump in Adobe Express and create some social media for her. And give me a like either if you're watching on Behance or on YouTube, because don't forget, Adobe Live goes live with a ton of inspiration and stream both on a YouTube live account and on that Behance as well. So give me a little thumbs up on the icon, not in the chat, just in the icon, if you enjoy the logo or if you enjoy the stream and if you like to participate here. Now I'm gonna tackle the visibility of the work in progress, because it's nice when designers show the final product and it looks nice and neat, but stuff does get messy. It gets messy before it gets pretty, and I'm gonna dive in here in different techniques and show you, starting from mood board, how to extract color using this mosaic effect, how to how we select fonts and how do we go about it, and how I created this pattern. And then I'm also going to show you how I created this a needle. If you believe those are just two lines that I've been able to edit with the width tool, we're going to tackle so many different tools. Hopefully you will enjoy. So this is a stream both for you if you're starting a business, if you're not a designer, but also if you're a designer. That's a great starting point to learn how to approach a brief for your clients. Perfect. So let's go ahead and start by the mood board. As also Sandy has requested, the mood board are a place where you can start to collect ideas and lay your foundation for the design. So I'm just going to go ahead and delete these images here and show you what is my real workflow in my everyday life. How do I go about it to start to find my inspiration? So what I do, I head to my libraries panel. I'm a massive fan of library. If you've been on a stream with me before, you'll see that I use my libraries. Look at that, how many libraries I have here, a ton, one per each of my project that I have ongoing. All you have to do is to go ahead and click on the little plus icon to create a new library. You can name it. I already create one for the Seashore Lane. Here it is. And once you create a library, you will be able to add all the assets related to your project inside this library, and they will make it so much easier for me to share that with Sandy. You can share with all your collaborator as well. And perhaps I'm just going to give you also a little bit of a preview of the beta share for review, which is quite new in Illustrator, and it's really, really exciting to share some work in Illustrator for those that are not designer and don't even have a Creative Cloud. It's absolutely amazing. So all you have to do here is to click at the down pointing arrow inside your library that you just created, and make sure to select Adobe Stock. For those of you that are not familiar with Adobe Stock is Adobe library of professional assets that you can license and use in your project, or like in this case, we can just simply use it as an inspiration. So in this case, I'm just going to use it and drag it in. They will have the watermark, they will have the Adobe tag, but that's absolutely fine because I'm just using it as an inspiration, and that is fine. And that's also how flexible it is. You can bring in as many images as you want, and until you're ready with it, you have so much control, because you know, you don't have to pay anything until you are ready to bring it to print and to bring it to a final project, which I think is amazing. I used to spend so much money in other, you know, different stock. Now with Adobe Stock, I just bring it in, try it, show it to the client. If they're happy, it's good. You can go ahead and license this. If not, I haven't lost a penny because I can just go ahead and replace it. So here from the search, Adobe Stock, you can choose any sort of word that you want. In my case, I was looking for coastal. So let's go ahead and use this coastal vibe and see what is going on here. So first of all, we start to click on the plus icon in order to add this item to my color palette, and then you can simply go ahead and click on the keyword again. And look at that, we're starting to get some patterns, but most importantly, I use these lovely images also for our color. There is so much that you can do, because not only images are available, you can also access professional vector graphics, which is super cool. But at the moment, I'm just going to go ahead and add as many images that I think they're relevant here. Look at that, we have more like breeze, and let's go ahead and add this beautiful tone of blue in monochrome. And as you can see, all these images are right away added inside my library. Here they are. And all I'm left to do is simply to click and drag in one of my artboard in order to start to build my mood board. And again, for those of you that are not familiar with mood board, those are a great way for you to collect inspirations and ideas. Again, this can be for your color palette, for maybe finding a specific object. I love this sun. Or I even thought to use that as an icon, which is also an option, but that's the beauty of it. So I started to bring in some quilt as well and move on. But as I said, because we had so much Adobe Firefly, I wanted to kind of throw it in the mix, as it is quite fantastic to use Adobe Firefly, and I want to show you how I actually use it inside my project. So let's go ahead and see. So here I was trying to design a coastal home. Look at that. But let's go back. And for those of you, by the way, that have not been using Firefly yet, you will see that this is the brand new Gen AI from Adobe that will allow you to do some fantastic things. One is to generate images from a text prompt, but also generate text effect. You can go ahead and watch the replay. There have been amazing streams going on Adobe Live. Go ahead and search it on YouTube as well. And if you go ahead and click here on generate, you will be able to insert a prompt. And what I wanted to insert here, and that's exactly what I've done when I started this research, I went to Sandy website. So as you can see, this is our current brand. And what I've done is used one of her taglines. So I went to the home page here, and I kind of love that because I really think that it gave a good description of what the core of the brand is. Creative calm is like visiting your favorite holiday beach house, gentle breeze, salty hair, and your favorite quilt store just a stroll away. So literally what I've done is to select your favorite holiday beach house, gentle breeze, everything as it is, and click copy. And then I head into Firefly, and from here I just simply went and pasted it on my prompt, and look at those results, are absolutely amazing. Here we are actually browsing all the different images. So instead of going on Adobe Stock, so that's a mood board, like it is literally a mood board put together. That's mind-blowing. I could have gone on and on and on Adobe Stock and research, you know, breeze, as I was doing, coastal house, or, you know, quilt store, and all the single keywords that I highlighted inside the brief. But here you can paste an entire sentence, and, you know, not to mention that you can also go ahead and use different styles, colors and tone and lighting and composition. But in this case, we're just using this as an inspiration. Look at that, how many beautiful patterns. Again, colors, they're absolutely gorgeous. You have different things in terms of finding similar, downloading. Of course, when you download the result, you can also rate it. The team right now is collecting a lot of feedback, so make sure to go ahead and throw that in the mix. In order to promote the transparency of the fact that this image was created with Firefly, there is a content credential that is going to let us know, hey, this was created with Firefly. So if we go ahead and we open the folder, again, we're just using this for moodboard. Look at that, how messy my folders are, by the way. Let's see if we can find it here. Here it is, our favorite holiday beach house. And let's go back into InDesign. So if I go and select my folder, all I have to do is to drag it inside my moodboard. And look at that. We have this lovely image. We have the content credentials say that is is not for commercial use, which absolutely fine. We're just using it for inspiration. And look what I'm going to do with this image. So besides being a beautiful, you know, a mood board itself of what Sandy's business is about, and probably that's what is in her mind when she think like, you know, that's what I want my business to be. You can also use this amazing prompt to generate color. And let me show how I do that. Once I jump into Firefly and I choose an image that summarizes the inspiration, the essence of a business, and just bring all these keywords together to just bring out an image that will represent it, then I go to, with my image selected, I go to object, and from here I actually showed that during the latest Illustrator Creative Challenge about a week ago. And from here, let me go ahead and make sure that I find the right here we go, create object mosaic, which for some reason at the moment is not showing up. You can also create gradient mesh. I'm not sure why at the moment it didn't show up, but you can go ahead and create a gradient mesh, which is pretty much the same thing. So what you can do here is either create a mosaic with the create object mosaic, or you can create an gradient mesh. Or I understand it looks like it's an image that is brought into a little frame, so that's why probably it's not working, but it's fine. We can do the same with the gradient here. We can still pick up these lovely colors that create from the image. So we have some red with some blue, we have some yellow, and I've pretty much done the same thing here with an image that was also generated with Adobe Firefly. That is the mosaic effect, just so you have an idea. I'm just gonna try it on another image just to show you how easy it is. So I just go ahead and select an image, and then from object you can go ahead and select create object mosaic. For some reason it's not working right now. It's been working until a moment ago, worked during the stream. So all I do here is simply to click on the image and then object and object mosaic. But otherwise we can always select a simple shape like a rectangle. There is always workaround for everything, and we can either use the image generated through Firefly or the image generated with our lovely Adobe stock that we search for, and then we can create a rectangle. And with the eyedropper tool, which we can bring up with the letter I on our keyboard, you can go ahead and start to select any color that you wish to use. So for example, we can pick up the color of the sand, and then we can create a copy and pick up the color of the sky, and so on. And by doing so, we're just gonna literally extract a color palette from this coastal scene that was generated here. Let's go pick another color, just like so. Okay, so once you create a color palette, how do we take a step forward in order to create a swatch that we can use consistently for our brand? Because, you know, when you're talking about brand, you talk about consistency, about creating a memorable design that you can share and use everywhere. Viola is asking, what is Firefly? Firefly is a brand new technology preview that is available, artificial intelligence that allows you to generate images from text or create text effect. Go back, Viola, and watch the amazing stream with Paul Trani, with Samantha from the amazing team to get all the knowledge. Here I'm just giving you a little bit of intrigue, and there are so many people that don't know what it's about, so it's absolutely fine. Ask your questions. If you go on my Instagram, I have a detailed explanation of what this wonderful project is. You can access request to the beta, and you also can access the Discord channel. In the Discord you get all the news, all the information. You can get all the, there are many people that are asking, hey, how come I've not been added to the beta yet? Well, there are so many people, it's so new, so many people are requesting access to it, so you might just want to just see the news and just say that it's just a case of waiting for a moment until everybody processes in and gets access to this amazing tool. And again, this is just a preview of the future, really. That's what it is. Okay, so now that we created our color palette, so we select our images, how to create a mood board, head to Adobe Stock, get your images. If you want to get fancy creative, get to Firefly, use the keywords to generate the mood board in one picture, as I call it. And then you can either use the gradient or the mosaic effect in order to generate and extract color from a single image. And then from there, you can create your little swatches. And how do we transform that little rectangle? Because those are just shapes filled with color. I would go about to transform them into swatches. We're really easy. From our swatches panel, and by the way, any of the panel, if you're newbie in Illustrator, that's absolutely fine. Any panel that you see in my screen that is not on yours is located under the top window menu. So make sure to head on the window menu and select swatches in order to follow along perhaps, or to repeat this workflow yourself. Then click and drag with your little black arrow, which is our selection tool, in order to select all these rectangle with the color that we have extracted from the image. And then we're gonna go ahead and select and click on the little folder in order to create a new color group inside our swatches panel. Here, make sure to select the selected artwork. That means that we're gonna extract a new swatches color group from the selected artwork, which are this little rectangle here, and then we're going to go ahead and click on OK. And as you can see, now this is available and we can reuse it. So even if I delete these rectangles, if I delete these images, we can use these colors everywhere when we're working in this document. But let's take this a step further. As I said before, I love and I'm a massive fan of library, and I'm going to end up sharing this library with Sandy for your brand. And if you're a designer, you're going to do that. If you're a business owner, you want to do that for yourself and for your team in order to create a consistent brand. We're going to jump into Adobe Express. You will see how useful this is as well. And all we're going to do here is to select this new color group and then simply move it inside the library by clicking this icon that is located at the bottom of the swatches panel. And in one click, you will see that this color group is now available inside your library. That means that you can share it with your team. You can access it if you're working in Photoshop. So for example, here before in Photoshop, I was working on the label. If I wanted to change any color, all I have to do is to get into my libraries, which again, in every Creative Cloud app, if you're looking for the panel and you don't find it, always head to the window menu. And in this case, again, here we can find the swatches panel, I was looking for my libraries panel. Here it is from the libraries. All I have to do here from the libraries panel is to make sure that I have access to our Seashore Lane that we created for Sandy, and here it is. Our color theme is there available for us to use. So let's say that I want to change the color of the logo that I've created. All I have to do is to simply select any of the color that we have chosen before from our library. Boom, and here it is. The change are made on brand. So those are top secrets in order to work on brand and to make sure that when you create a logo and a brand, you will be able to carry it out throughout your marketing materials, something like tags if you in particular Sandy, as products, and your social media and so on. So let's jump back into Illustrator. So we have done our images. We'll show you how to create a mood board, how to get the vibe, how to get the color from the mood board. Again, colors are not the only thing that you would like to get from the mood board. There are many items such as this beautiful sun. I love this design. Maybe I can show you how we can work with that as well, and how maybe you can create that. But again, use the mood board as the foundation, as the inspiration of your design. That will help you to set the foundation in order to create a cohesive look, and also to confront your idea with your with your client as well, because there might be something included in your mood board that your client doesn't like. And I'm actually, or maybe if you're working in a team, or maybe if you have a partner for your business, and I'm actually going to show you at this point how you can share this mood board directly from Illustrator. We have Alessandra saying, love the color palettes. Yes, it's beautiful, just like a summary of the coastal. Israel, when will CC subscriber get this tool? So Israel, if you're talking about Firefly, is available in beta. That means that is a work in progress. It's public, so everybody that requests the access will be able to access by following the link that I believe Wade has already provided. And of course, you can learn more by watching the stream from Paul Trani and Samantha for the amazing Firefly team. You will learn, you know, they really talked to today. I was just there. I was working and I was watching the stream because I stream on Adobe Live and I watch Adobe Live all day. So go ahead and check it out. So I find it really great. It just gets my brain going in terms of inspiration. So I find it really, really cool. And also uses the images from Adobe Stock. So you see what I was doing before from the library, choosing image from Adobe Stock. That does it in one click and all at once, which I think is amazing. Perfect. So let's go ahead from here and let's move to another step, which I said before I get distracted, was to share. So how do you share and what does it mean share? If we go ahead and click on share here, so let's say that before I move forward, I want to make sure that our lovely client is happy with the result, or maybe the team is happy with the result. We can go ahead and add this image. We're just working on mood board, so this will not be used for commercial use, just as an inspiration at the moment or for your project. I'm just going to go ahead and bring this color palette as well, because I want to show you how will that work. So all you have to do is to click on the share button here in Illustrator and then select share for review. That's another beta that you will find inside the app. And from here, you can decide to create a link. Now, anyone who has the link, even if they have no idea, you don't need to know what Creative Cloud is. You don't have to have an Adobe account. And that's another thing. If you're working with a designer, if you're a business owner and you're working with a designer, like, you know, now Sandy is working with me, I can just share this link with her. She doesn't even need to have Illustrator in her machine, because all you do here is to simply click on the link, and I'm just going to go ahead and show you from an incognito window. So you will see here that I do not need to be logged in with my Creative Cloud stuff. I'm going to pretend to be the client right now here. So here you will see that with this link we have access to all the artboards that are inside Photoshop, so inside Illustrator, which is pretty amazing. And not only you can view it, that's just like a normal browser page. Not only you can view it, but you can also leave a comment and leave some feedback. But moreover, you can also note and draw a shape to specifically say, you know what, Kladi, I love all the color palette, but I really don't like this color. Let's make it orange. So let's go ahead and select that color and let's write, let's make this orange and brighter. Perfect. And then you can go ahead and submit. Now remember, I'm not logged in. I'm the client. I don't know. I'm a business owner. I have no idea what the Creative Cloud is. I have no idea having access to Adobe Illustrator. I only use Express because that's my way to go to make my graphic, and I'm happy with that. So I don't want to know anything about Illustrator. That's absolutely fine. So I'm going to go ahead and call myself the client. Of course, you can put your name or anything you want and continue as a guest. And again, all you have to have access to is a browser and internet, of course. So another thing that we can do is perhaps to pin in order to customize the link. So here I'm going to pin and be like, this image is cool. And then you can submit that as well. And then from here, we could simply go ahead and jump back into Illustrator to see what is the designer looking at and what happens in Illustrator once you share this link, and then you have a client or you have a team member or someone else that is looking at these, your artwork from a browser. What actually happens inside Illustrator? How do you know what is going on? Well, usually you get a pop-up right away. Don't forget that now I'm streaming, so probably it will be a little bit more of a delay. Otherwise, you can go ahead and when you share a link, you can right away open up your comments panel. Again, as every other panel, you can find it inside your window menu. And from here, go ahead and click on comments, and you will see that your comments will be loaded right away. So we probably need to give it a second here, as no comments are showing yet. Let's go and make sure that we have submitted our comments from our website. Yeah, they're both submitted, and we show the annotation. So let's just give it a moment, and I'm just gonna go ahead and resend that. Again, I'm streaming live, everybody, so if there is a little bit of a delay with the share feedback, is for that reason as well. But I'm gonna leave this window here, and you will see that they will appear inside Illustrator, and from here you will be able to have access also to the specific note and the comment and resolve it. So this is actually an interactive back and forth that we have. Okay, in the meantime that we wait for the client to put the comment through, we will be able to go ahead and move forward with our design. And actually, I'm going to take a moment to see if there is any question in the chat. Hi, Alessandra. Hi, Flynn. What's up? How's it going? And let's see if there is any other question. A lot of excitement for Firefly. Yes, that's super, super exciting. Let me know if you've used the share for review perhaps in InDesign before. That's a feature that's been already available for at least 1 or 2 years, I believe, inside Illustrator as well. And Israel, don't worry, everybody's gonna get access to it. It just takes a little bit of time, just because there are so many people that are requesting access to this exciting beta. Okay, so we talked about libraries, we talked about stock, we talked about Firefly, we talked about share for review. Now it's time to go ahead and show you another service that runs parallel with these amazing apps, which is fonts.adobe.com. If choosing fonts is not your top skill, if you don't know much about typography and you just want to start to understand what works best for your business, you have 2 ways of doing so. One, you can simply go ahead and select the type tool, and here go ahead and type whatever you want. In this case, I'm going to type Seashore Lane, which is the name of the business. Oh, perfect, it's already with the final font. How convenient. But let's go ahead and pretend that this is any other random font, and then from the properties panel under character, you will be able to access and preview by hovering on it all the fonts that are already active inside your machine. But again, what if you are not the perfect person to choose font? Well, you have couple options here. You can go into your filters and already have Adobe Illustrator, in this case, helping you by choosing a classification. This is a sans serif, this is a serif. You don't need to really know what those mean, but you can see with these wonderful icons, be so easy to just kind of narrow down your selection of fonts. And then of course you can again go back here and just have a preview. Now, if you use filters, don't forget to clear all. Otherwise, your Adobe Illustrator will only show you the fonts that are matching those characteristics. So always clear your searches and your filters before you keep going. But otherwise, you can select Find More. And by selecting Find More, you will be able to explore more fonts and activate it directly from the Adobe Fonts library. Now, if you don't know what the Adobe Font library is about, let me go ahead and show you how the Adobe Fonts library look like in all its beauty and force. And again, that's another service from the wonderful Adobe. So this is part of your subscription. All these fonts are available for you to use. They're already licensed. It's pretty amazing. Again, fonts.adobe.com is the place to go. And once you head on the home page, you have different things here. You can choose all the fonts available, and then again, you have more way to browsing them here, even more by using all the filters, languages, variable fonts, tags that will allow you to choose more. So for example, if we're looking for a typewriter look, to find something similar to what Sandy already had, but maybe a little bit more modern. Look at that, how beautiful is that, this deco code one. You can go ahead and select it, and also once you select or find one that you like, maybe this next to type right, or many more, all you have to do is to click on it, Of course, you can also input a simple text. So again, here we have our Seashore Lane logo. So already you have a preview of how that looks like. And then, of course, you can activate either the entire family. So in this case, 4 fonts, the regular, the italic, the bold, and the bold italic, or you can only activate the one that you would like to use. So in this case, for example, I'm going to use the Seashore Lane. Looks like I've missed a E here from the preview. It doesn't really matter. That's just kind of an idea how the letters that you're specifically looking for look like, and you can go ahead and activate the font. And by activating the font, this one is called Deco Code. If we head back into our Illustrator, or I'll show you also in Adobe Express, you will be able to go back here and find your font. Look at that, Deco Code 1 bold has been activated right away while working. So you didn't have to lose your concentration, copy, activate it, put it somewhere else on your computer. It's just like that. As soon as you use it, as soon as you find it, you can go ahead and see and applicate it and use it right away inside Illustrator. But more than that, you can also see how it gets used in Adobe Express. So if we click on this link, I'm just going to go ahead and take advantage of this link to open our amazing express.adobe.com. Can you see how these like Adobe things just kind of work one with each other? It's absolutely amazing. All these applications, all this software, all these services, they interact. I almost feel like when I start creating some graphics that I walk into this Adobe world, and then I have all these shelves where I have all the tools. I started as a traditional designer. I was a graffiti painter, so I have a still in my shed, which now they're just covered in dust. I have paintbrush, I have spray paint, I have all sorts. I used to paint like with all sorts of things like wooden. I used different media, cutout, typewriter, so much stuff. Now I feel that all of that is inside my Creative Cloud account. So each shelf is filled with images that I can find, photography, and everything at the most exciting way in terms of professional looking output. So even if you're not a designer, you will be able to tap into these amazing resources in order to make sure that your business stand out. And look what happened there. We were just looking for a font and we stumbled into the magical world of Express. And for those of you again that are not familiar with Express, that is that wonderful place in which you can create and make your graphic, taking advantage of course, all the power of this wonderful Adobe app. Like images, we can access stock from here as well. So for example, we can go ahead into the photo and access. Again, we have our search Adobe stock like we had inside our libraries, inside Illustrator. You see, everything is connected. So here again, if we use Coastal, we can go back and find one of these wonderful images. So you perhaps you can also create your mood board in here as well. But even more, when I talked about the importance of using your library, here it is. Our Seashore Lane library is there ready for us to use. And those were the images that we have just put in, which is quite fantastic. So they're ready and available for us to use even if we started working inside Illustrator. Okay, so once you create the font, you can choose whatever you want. In this case, it was our Deco. Let's go ahead and see which one I've actually decided to use at the end for our lovely Sandy. It's called Elido Upright, and this is also a font that I found during my research on fonts.adobe.com. I want to show everybody what is it called, just in case you want to use it. What I loved about this font is that it is geometric and is very legible, but at the same time has this sort of like odd sort of glyphs and serifs sort of inside the caps that just gave me more of almost like an imperfect handmade feel, which is exactly what our Sandy and our Seashore brand is going for. So I try to represent what is the idea and the goal of what the business wants to look like and wants to communicate to their customer, and transfer that into a font that at the same time is also legible. And when you're doing a brand lift and you're actually refreshing a logo that exists, you also want to make sure that you don't go completely crazy in order not to shock your customers. We see so often the big brands do that, and you know you have a very odd reaction, but they can afford to do it. Sometimes they just do it for the shock value, but they are massive multinational brands and they can afford to do that. If you're a small business, if you're a medium business, if you're a startup, and maybe you're just going through the process of refresh, try to keep close to your identity, maybe with a color palette, maybe with a similar font. And that's the reason why when I was creating the brand refresh for Sandy, I kind of kept a little bit of that sort of typeface and typewriter feel into it, just because I want to make sure that their current customer do not feel like, you know, that's a new brand or something has changed, so you can retain all the customer that you already have. Let's see if there is any question here. I can see Annika in the chat. Annika, thank you so much for being here. Axel, you have trouble with my accent. I'm Italian. I've been doing this for a while. You can have, Annika was suggesting to having the CC, but hopefully you will be able to follow along as well with a CC activated on it. Okay, so let's go ahead and move forward. And how did I create this little needle before we go and keep going working in Adobe Express? I'm jumping from one app to the other because that is how the real workflow is, although Express will allow you to create a lot of this stuff. Like I said, the mood board, maybe perhaps I should show you real quick as well. The mood board is something that you can recreate in Express real quick as well. Those are the images, again, the same that I found from Adobe stock. As I showed you a moment ago, you can find the same images inside Adobe stock. You can have access to the font. In order to, in this case, bring in the images, all you have to do is to click once, and then you can do pretty much like I've done before, created this mood board in order to select perhaps the colors or to get the vibe and set the foundation for your brand. And the same for the font. Maybe you can have a go with choosing this particular font, and then again you can create a copy and pick another font here. Let's see if our Elido, I believe was called, here it is now available. So you can also create a mood board that incorporates images and font. And again, we are mimicking the same two things. So everything that I've shown you so far inside Illustrator, you can do the same inside Express. So again, search images from stock, create a mood board by bringing your images together, search font, apply font, type text, and again, show it to your client as well by download. And in this case, you will just share an image. Okay, so let's go ahead and let me show you real quick how did I create a needle, because that's an exciting tool that gets often overlooked in Adobe Illustrator. In order to create the needle here, all I have done is to simply use a couple of strokes. So I wanted to show you how to do that because it's quite cool. So all you have to do here is to go ahead and select, in this case, the pencil tool. And what I've done, and I'm using my mouse here, so make sure that you set your stroke to black from the fill and stroke control. And all you have to do here is to click and drag. So all I've done is literally to create a swirl. And then from the advanced menu here from the toolbar, we can go ahead and choose a tool which is a game changer. It's called the smooth tool. If you select the smooth tool, making sure that your path is selected, can you see all this little curve imperfection? All you have to do is to click and drag here to make sure that you make your curve much smoother. And in just one click, all you have to do is literally almost painting over with this fantastic tool, and your curve will be much smoother than before. Okay, perfect. Now, how do I get this, stroke that has the same width altogether to look like this other stroke, which has got, a thicker width in the middle, and then at the edges they are thinner? Well, I've used a tool that is called the width tool, which is located inside your basic toolbar. And by selecting the width tool, you will see that you have a little diamond that appears when you hover inside the stroke. And these little diamonds allows you to see the preview of where you're gonna input this width point. And you input a width point simply by clicking once, and then if you drag outwards, you will be able to make your stroke thicker. Now, if you use the Alt or Option key while you use the width tool, you will also be able to do that only from one side. So as you can see, the Alt will allow you just to use one side and retains the other one of the same size. And you can not also make it bigger, you can also make it smaller. In this case, I'm going to do that at the edge by simply clicking inward. So remember, if you click outward, your line will become larger. If you click inward, your path will become smoother. And those, by the way, are live paths. So for example, if I want to delete any of this point, I can do that at any time, just like so. And then I can go ahead and change the width also at any time, and I can move this point throughout my stroke. I can change their width at any time. I can add more stroke and so on. Now, how did I create the one for the needle? Really simple. In this case, I've been using the segment tool, which you can find under the rectangle tool inside your stroke. And then same thing with our lovely width tool. All I've done is to bring out the top and bring in the bottom of the needle. Maybe that was a little bit too much. And then in this case, I went into object path and I outlined stroke. That is probably a screenshot moment. So in order to outline your stroke, select your stroke, then head to object, path, outline stroke. And just like that, in under a minute, your stroke will transform into shape. And this will allow you to do more things like create further shape. Like in this case, press the letter L to activate the ellipse tool. And in this case here, with the ellipse tool, all I'm done is go ahead and create a little eye inside my needle. Here it is, so we can make it a little bit smaller. And then we're going to use our lovely Pathfinder option that is located under the properties panel or also inside the window menu in order to subtract this shape over here. So as you can see, we now have, oops, looks like my stroke is selected. We now have our lovely needle that is there, and then we have the thread. We can perhaps make our stroke here a little bit smaller. It looks like our needle is too smaller for the stroke, but you got the gist here. I can see the time we're running way too fast, but as you can see here, what I've done is simply created a stroke and a path. And I'm going to throw another amazing feature. Today we're talking about so many new things. The Intertwine, which is being launched last year at Max. The Intertwine tool will allow you, let's go make this a little bit lighter so perhaps we can all see it better. Will allow you to intertwine objects and that are overlapping. So in this case, select them both and then head to object and intertwine and then make. And by doing so, we will be able to bring one side of the thread above the needle. Make sure to select it all. Here we go. And as you can see, this is still a path. We don't have to create further shapes. Those are simply two intertwined paths that are ready to go and ready to sit next to our logo. So I showed you how you can get the right font with Adobe Fonts. You can create a mood board thanks to Adobe Stock, the magic of using Adobe Firefly for your inspiration in your workflow. And then we can use strokes to create complex shapes thanks to the width tool, the Pathfinder tool, and so much more. And now all you have to do is to then jump in Adobe Express and putting all these amazing assets that you have created to use together. By the way, we could perhaps also bring the logo inside the inside our library. Let's see if we can do that in this short time that we have as well. Let's go ahead into libraries, and all I'm doing here is to simply drag in the logo inside the library. Let's see if we will update in time. And thanks to Adobe Express, you have access to some amazing templates that will allow you to already find something that is ready for you. So if we go to our homepage, perhaps here we can have access to a flyer, a poster, Instagram post, Instagram story, but even more. So for example, you can create here, so let's say coastal, and then go ahead and choose Instagram post. So by choosing coastal Instagram post, again, we are using this filter in order to get the vibe. Look at that. We have so many ready to go template that will allow you to already have perhaps the color palette or maybe the vibe and the feel that you want for your advert. All you have to do here at any point is to simply to select any of that. So I'm just going to go ahead and choose, let's go ahead. I'm just going to go ahead and use the word coastal to start. Let's see if I have even a broader look here. Fantastic. So let's go ahead and choose this one here with a lovely shell, for example, and you can go ahead and customize it as much as you want. So in this case, this is a group. I can go ahead and ungroup it, get rid of the text, and then head into my library And again, I'm not sure about my internet right now, but you will be able to access your library and then access any. See, the logo is there. We added it and made it there. So look at that. That can be a post ready to go. Something that speaks about Coastal, and the logo there ready to go and be used. And of course, you can add so much more. Go ahead and have fun discovering the design assets. We can look at patterns here, and we can see all these different patterns that we can add. Maybe you can add these little blue dots. You can use the color from your color palette that we have created to give it even more of a look. Honestly, this is just for you to explore. You can use that pattern in any sort of form that you want. It don't have to be necessarily throughout the screen. All you have to do is to click and drag to place the element around and create your composition. There is so much here that you can take advantage of. Let's see if we can actually create something a little bit more here. Look at that. Look how beautiful all these patterns are. And if you at the end of the day decide to change your mind and perhaps you do not want to use this little shell anymore, you will be able also to select it here from your layers. You can either bring it up if you want. I'm definitely going to bring my logo to the top, and then if you want, you can also simply either replace it by clicking on replace image, or simply clicking on the little bean or on the little backspace in order to delete it. Look at that. Just by using these textures and our logo, we were able to convey this coastal look. Look how cool is that. And if you want to stand out even more, we can go ahead and select a shape. And in this case, I'm going to go ahead and select a little square. See if we can use that to make our logo stand out. And we can bring it behind the logo, and then we can go ahead and select our logo and we can align it to the center, and maybe we can make our square a little bit smaller. Again, center it thanks to these lovely tools that allow it to center right away, and maybe change the color feel to white. So here it is. That is a post to promote your brand ready to go. All you have to do is to download, or even better, you can use the scheduler right away to schedule your post from Adobe Express. Well, I hope that you had fun during this design fix. I hope that it inspired you for your business. Don't forget to go on my website, iamkladi.com/designfix. This will allow you to also submit your work. So today we worked on Sandy Seashore brand in order to give it a lift, and I share the process with you, but you can go ahead and fill out the form. So Alex and myself will be able to help you out during this hour together on Adobe Live. Don't forget to stay tuned. Adobe Live is always full of inspiring stream, both on the YouTube channel and Behance. And of course, don't forget to tune in and subscribe on the channel to be able to access all the amazing replay. Thank you so much for this time together. It was absolutely lovely to share this hour with you. Don't forget to leave a thumbs up both on YouTube and below the video here on Behance. And thank you again, and I will see you next week with more Design Fix. Goodbye, everybody.